Brooke Rollins joins me now, acting director of the White House Domestic Policy Council and assistant to the president. Brooke, welcome to the program. Thank you very much. Let's start with where the president is on this today, because while there's a contest going on, we only have one president at a time. And I'm curious to know if he's talked with officials, leadership on the ground where some of this unrest is happening. And it's bigger than unrest. It's violence. It's injurious. Right. And is he offering federal help, assistance, the way he has with other cities earlier in some of the protesting after George Floyd?
No, that's right. And I'm here at the White House. The president is obviously on the road. I have not spoken with him about this today. But what I will say is that he remains resolute in his absolute dedication to ensuring the safety and the security and ultimately the prosperity of all Americans. And what's happening in Philadelphia is absolutely inexcusable. The president has moved National Guard troops in earlier this week. We are really standing by to help in whatever way we can. Our heart goes out to the Walter Wallace family. I think Mr. Wallace Sr. put out the most beautiful quote talking about being a city worker for 33 years, cleaning up the sidewalks of Philadelphia. Now to see the loss of his son and the destruction of the town that he loves so much is absolutely inexcusable. So we stand ready to help.
Those were beautiful comments. And you didn't get political, but some people are. A Republican operative in Pennsylvania says, quote, "There's no doubt that lawlessness and rioting in the city is going to have a political impact in the suburbs. Even some suburbanites who otherwise are not enthralled with Trump see him as key to restoring law and order. Their personal safety is a top issue for them." What is your reaction to that?
Well, I think that's right. I think there's no doubt that this president, if you're looking, there's such a stark contrast going on in this country, and with the two men who are vying to become the next resident of the building behind me. What this president stands for, again, is safety and security, but it's so much more than that, Harris. The 3.5 years of unprecedented prosperity. You think about what this president did in terms of the taxes cutting and the deregulation and bringing prosperity to communities like Philadelphia that had never had prosperity before. You know, previous to Donald Trump, who focused on getting black men in jobs, people were focused, like Joe Biden, on putting black men in prison through the 1994 crime bill. So I do think, to get slightly political, although I'm a policy person, I do think that ultimately this really tells the story of what this president stands for. And even though he is unconventional, his amazing, amazing support, really for the first time amongst the black community. Just today or yesterday rolled out the Hispanic American Dream Plan for the Hispanic community, focusing on our seniors. Prosperity for all, especially for those who are forgotten. And I think you can see that story unfolding in Philadelphia. What do you want to lead this country?
You know, it's interesting. I hear you lay all of that out, and the messaging is very clear. We are so close to Election Day, and yet there's some ground to be made up, and I'm wondering what the strategy is moving forward. Let's take a look at some polling now. A September Fox News poll asked voters who they trust to do a better job maintaining law and order, and 49% said Joe Biden, 47% said President Trump. What is changing about the messaging? Again, that was in September. Clearly, we're not there. And after what has happened over the summer and now most recently in D.C. and Philly, where do you put the messaging for this to help the president? What's the strategy?
Well, Harris, first what I would say is we don't put much trust or faith in these sorts of polls, because I think that our message to the American people is one that is breaking through, and the polls are not necessarily showing that. But having said that, when 92% of the media stories about this president are negative, it's almost impossible to be able to fairly tell our story. The fact that we are, in my opinion, these polls even show us in a dead heat, means we're up 10 points, frankly. I mean, I'm from the great state of Texas, and 4 years ago, I remember them saying that Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump were in a dead heat, and the president ended up winning my home state by almost 10 points, and I think he will, again, by probably even more. So I do think we have an amazing story to tell. I do think it's very difficult to tell it in these sorts of circumstances, especially with the toxicity and the divisiveness, but I think we're breaking through, and I think Tuesday we'll see that firsthand.
All right, I want to get to this. Dr. Anthony Fauci, for the first time, voiced support for a national mask mandate. Let's watch.
You're using the word mandating masks. Yes, if that works, let's do it. I don't think it's going to happen nationally.
Why?
If it doesn't happen nationally, The reason is because it may not come from the White House to do it. And if it doesn't, then I think that the mayors and the governors should do it.
So, Brooke, would the president issue a mandate for mask wearing when you consider where the numbers of hospitalizations and where the vulnerabilities are in certain communities across the country?
So here's what I'll say about this. And I've met Dr. Fauci a few times. He and I don't necessarily sit in the same meeting, so I don't know him well. I know just a week or two ago, he said he was against a national mask mandate. So, you know, the story seems to change a little bit. But again, I have no doubt that he's, has good intentions in what he's saying. What I will say is while the COVID certainly is spiking, and that's the main news story right now, mortality death rates are down 85% since this spring. Only 6% of our hospital beds in this country today, 6%, are being used for COVID patients. There's a couple of outliers, hotspots like El Paso we've seen, but America is resilient and we will get the help to El Paso we already have and other places like it. So the idea that the president would issue a national mask mandate, I don't see any scenario where that happens. This president believes in the power of the states. He trusts the governors. He believes that returning power to the people means that the federal government doesn't tell everyone what to do every minute of the day. And we will beat the virus. The vaccine is just weeks away. We have 4 in final stages. We should have 100 million vaccines to send out to our most vulnerable by the end of the year. Let's protect our vulnerable, Harris, but let's get this country back to work, back to school, and back to church.
But we hope that all of that can happen expeditiously. It sounds more strategy there than hope, which is always a better idea. When you see other countries, France, Germany, locking down, when you see the president of Russia issuing a mask mandate, it does make you wonder what's coming down the pike since they were first and we were second, at least parts of Europe. All right, Brooke Rollins on the program for the first time. So good to have you. Thank you.
So glad to be here. What a joy. Thank you.